No break, no jam, no sense. A joro jara, joro, joro, joro. Attention.
Who would have thought that the person to appear on the show for the third time will be once again our celebrity friend, bigger than the biggest.
Wow.
We have Abibat again with us.
Period.
Third
We're
time.
paying her in shares, by the way.
After you now.
Share, share, share. No, this
Cry
share.
mama. Baba C, you gotta be mama.
Alright, but welcome back to the
Friends.
Green Passport Podcast. As always, I'm Ohiz. You guys know the boys already. And again, big up our third time coming guest. Big up Abibat. Today, we're going to talk about something quite, I won't say controversial, but then it's just something that we need a Peng black girl to help us talk about. You get me? So,
And she just happened to be in our area code.
word.
Okay. Ohiz, please take it easy.
I could die for you.
It's choking fast.
Anyways, cool. So everybody, for the most part, knows the song by any Peng Black Girls featuring
Let me
Amia.
give them a local remix.
Okay. Give
So
it.
that can be very good. There's Peng black girls in my area. Dark skin, light skin, medium tone. Medium tone.
Not going to pass yourself.
But yeah, amazing song.
Yeah.
Definitely amazing song. Love what it did. Like, the purpose of the song was just being like, I just love the song in general.
Yeah.
But with as much traction as it got, you can imagine that people, bigger artists, would see that and be like, let me hop on that. So the remix is featuring Georgia Smith.
Period.
But the thing is, though, Amia, who did the chorus of the original, was taken out of the song. Now, that caused a lot of uproar on the TL as people felt that, they took a dark-skinned woman's verse off the song to make place for a light-skinned woman. Like, that's what the narrative was. Obviously, Annie was against that. She fought against that. And then basically, the TL was just so divided on the topic. Again, Abibat as a dark-skinned, beautiful woman and that, like, we need to know, like, what was your take on it? And,
Yeah, I really just to get back to the message of the song, I really like the song, honestly, because for me, listening to the original, I listened to the original one first, which I saw via Twitter, and I think it was quite amazing to hear, like, and it was just talking about like the diversity even within black women. Like, we have choice, we have options, we can pick what we want. You can wear your contour today, tomorrow if you don't want, that's fine. Your afro, your wigs, like, it's just showing, we're multifaceted babes. And, black women, we be doing this shit. We're the fucking blueprint. And that's
100%.
But yeah, I just really like the message of the song, just talking about the variety that we come in and just seeing, like, even the visual of it as well. Like, they had, like, the Gile and the Ashra B, like, different women of different skin tones. And I just think it was just a song to, celebrate black women in all our variations and essence. And, like, it's okay to be different. And, yeah, I think that was what the message that I got from the song anyway. And initially, let me not lie, when I saw the other version, because I came across Georgia Smith's verse, I think, on Twitter or TikTok the first time. And it was just the fact that I think Annie was cut from she was cut from the verse, and I think the person was just appreciating Georgia's verse, I think. But I think Georgia did quite amazing on it as well. But I think the removal of Amia, am I pronouncing it properly?
Yeah, Amia, yeah.
I think it might have not been political. Like, I'm sure it wasn't intended to be received that way. Even though it wasn't consciously political, it was unconsciously political as well. Because for you to remove, like a dark-skinned woman from the one that did a lot, quote unquote, a lot better, it would have been received some way. The optics are not good, literally. The optics not good, but it's not to say that Georgia Smith wasn't just as good on it. And Georgia Smith has a higher following, as people would say, and definitely it would come across somehow. But personally, I liked both versions. I related more to the Amia's version more because it was just something I could see and just seeing the variation of women. But I think the three of them could have definitely been on the colors. I don't see why there couldn't have been 3 women. Or it would even make the message a lot more, stronger. The message would have been a lot more, it would stand more stronger because they're different women of different shades. Wigs, curly hair, afro. Like, I think it would have made more sense to have the 3 of them on, but don't let me chat too much.
Boys, before I give my own opinion on it, you want to go? Anything you want to add?
I mean, there's nothing that hasn't been said already. It's a wonderful song, both the original and the remix. I personally prefer the remix. Do you get what I mean? Not because of Georgia, but because Georgia's verse I think was better.
Expose yourself. I'm just joking.
Do you get what I mean? But yeah, that's all I have to say in regards to like the quality of the song.
Ifeanyi?
I mean, I share Okiki's sentiments. There isn't really anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On its merits, it's not bad. I mean, it's really good.
It's definitely really good. Like she was rapping like.
Yeah, I never see full on.
Like, it's not, and I don't think it's her usual thing.
Yeah, it's not a usual thing. Yeah.
But I definitely liked it as well.
I'm surprised that Georgia be this.
That was so
Let
me know because even this song she was singing, I don't.
Yeah, definitely. But I just kind of, I don't even think because a lot of people were coming for Georgia. I think if it was a song, like, we can't deny people of the experiences. I think that's something that the TL, like, some people were like, there's some experiences she might not be able to relate to, or something that I saw,
Georgia,
and stuff like. But I hear it. I definitely hear it because even though we're collectively black, there's just some experiences that are not, like that
general
kinkier hair.
Yeah.
My experience that people with looser curls might not experience. I hear it, but at the same time as well, I think because the song is focusing on variations of black women, I think Georgia could have definitely been on it. But the problem that I had was the removal of not removal, but the lack of presence of Amir, yeah. And I think it speaks volumes as well because we don't know the backgrounds of it. We don't know, maybe apparently she's not signed.
Is it? Yeah, Amir is independent. Yeah.
She's an independent artist. I'm sure there's a lot of like background things behind that we probably wouldn't see, which would mean the hair not being in the colors. It would make more sense. I think just the optics of it. Like, if I didn't know any of that, for example, and I just saw the video and I'm like, raw, they really removed a dark-skinned woman from the original. It is political, like, let's not, like, it is a bit political, and I think I didn't feel sorry for Amia, but I just felt sorry on her behalf. I felt hurt on her behalf, I think. Yeah. Just in terms of that, but we can't lie that colorism doesn't play a part in terms of like recognition and awards and stuff like that. Like, who gets a lot of merit, because unconsciously sometimes we might have. Some people have colorist preferences. And
true, absolutely.
It's not to say Georgia Smith isn't, she's not talented, because she's super amazing and stuff like that. But I think even on that specific video of Georgia, like, some black men, like, the way some things that they even type and write, like, like, her skin is so like, it just comes across a bit like,
it's so weird.
It's weird.
It comes across as a bit weird. So I think definitely it might not be the message, but
I think she was having an interview, Georgia, and she was reading like the tweets. This was time ago before the song came out, and men were talking about like going to the sewer and looking for her,
going to the what?
Sewer, like
drinking her piss.
Yeah, drinking her piss.
Crazy shit. Like
and she was like, her father read that and she was like, what the fuck, man? Like,
interesting.
and was black men as well,
Like, I feel like sometimes I think that can be.
There's a fetish around that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even and for some dark-skinned women, it could have even been a bit triggering, especially if you've been someone who, like, light-skinned women have always been raised above you for the longest time, or been chosen over you by men, for example. And you saw like the video, for example, like, you really love the first one, just how just not even the blackness of it, but the way it celebrates black women.
Yeah.
And, like, the woman who sang a verse that you really liked had been like taken off without you having any context. You will feel some type of way, like.
Shouldn't it be equal? Because if they took out a black woman and replaced her with another black woman who happens to be light skinned,
honestly, I'm not one to say. I think if your identity, however you present yourself, I think you're free to do that. Definitely, I hear that. But some people, it literally raises a question: are we questioning Georgia's blackness? Because some people went to that extent to then be like, that's why I'm like, I literally initially said, you can't deprive people of like how they present, basically. It doesn't make her any less black. She's light skinned, but we can't ignore the fact that privileges, as much as it exists on like a continuum, but all placed at different ends. Be it if you have looser hair texture, for example, or if you have lighter skin, and because you're dark doesn't always mean you have tight curls as well. Because some people who are darker have looser curls and stuff like that. So it's like on a continuum, but we can't lie that preferences or like what we are unconsciously attracted to doesn't play a part in terms of like triggers and stuff like that. So yeah.
I feel you.
I feel you completely on that. But now, just going into like the music and the Twitter uproar, for example, like I said, both versions were incredible. The song, the messaging, and everything of the whole thing was incredible. What I didn't really like about what was really going on in the trailer, and because first of all, one thing, like I saw it on TikTok as well, with the promotion of the song, all they showed was the first 8 out of Georgia 16. Like it was just all Georgia they used for the promotion. And I'm like, okay, I get she's the bigger artist, but that's not fair on any though. Like that's not fair on her because at the end of the day it's her song. Like there is not this, big traction or any attention about this song without any. But be that as it may, what I didn't like now is people, because it's one thing to say, oh, how could you take a me or for Judge Smith, the light-skinned woman or whatever. What I didn't really like now is how people, and it's not even something that's been happening with just this song. A lot of people started invalidating Judge Smith's blackness because, yes, she's mixed race, whatever the case may be. But because of that, people almost just try and take away like her struggles and whatever the case may be. I try to say that, oh, you can't rap about pink black girls, you're barely black yourself, or whatever the case may be. And to be fair, I just don't think that's fair. Like she didn't choose to be mixed race, and whether people like it or not, in a lot of these spaces, no matter whether her parents or one of her parents are white or not, people are just it's the one drop rule all over again. She's going to be viewed as a black woman wherever she goes. Just because of how she's going to be viewed as a black woman wherever she goes.
I said,
I mean, yeah, she will be viewed as a black woman, but not a dark-skinned black woman.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah,
obviously, she's not going to be viewed as a dark-skinned black. That's just
exactly like what I said. Like a lot of times, like advantages lies on a continuum. It doesn't mean you can't be talented because definitely, it's almost like think of it as like a scale. Like honestly, different things will come across quote unquote advantageous over some other things, and skin tone just happens to be one thing that takes part. Just the same I mentioned hair texture.
Yeah.
Part in there, like texturism is a whole thing alongside colorism. Like texturism walked, so colorism walks, so texturism could fly. Like things like this, like they do exist, and like they do put your advantages. And I think especially for like Georgia didn't pick to be mixed race. I mean, come on, like, But at the same time as well, it's not to say that she hasn't or doesn't benefit from those.
She absolutely does.
Because she definitely will, and it's not. This is even has nothing to do with the music. Because she's amazing. She's crazy talented. But I do think I don't want to say I understand the frustration, but I see like like them saying like she might not be able to respond to some of those experiences like maybe her hair hasn't broke a hairband or two, but but in the song directly. But I just think, as you said, like it's a lot more divisive than it is like than it is united. But at the same time as well, a lot of dark-skinned black women, the amount of like not even violence, be it like physically, but the amount of violence that's been shown towards dark-skinned black women, be it from hair to skin tone, I think sometimes the message is just easier received from someone who looks like you than someone who doesn't.
Word.
It's about who's giving the message to you. Because imagine, I remember when Obama, like, I mean, identity politics is one thing, but like, remember when Obama was like running for president, like, my dad was so excited.
Yeah.
Solely based on the fact that Obama was a black man.
Yeah.
And that was it for
Even
him.
if he wasn't competent.
Yeah.
No, it's true. No, it's true. But he was. Not the same.
But
was.
even I hyped it up, and it's not. I mean, like, I'm sure he's thrown a few bombs over, like, some countries, but
They threw a few bombs here and there.
in his presidency, like, like he had some of the in his presidency period. There was like a lot of. He did a lot. It wasn't all nice and flowery. And
Yeah, no, 100%.
But
Yeah.
just to say that sometimes some things are a lot more digestible when they're coming from people who look like us and
Shared your suffering.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it kind of like, for me, it kind of like not mirrors, that situation of like, like during like the feminism movement, for example, when we're talking about racism, for example, we tell like white women, like, although you're like suppressed by patriarchy and stuff like that, another layer is you're not suppressed by like the color of your skin.
Yeah.
So we always tell them, like, when we're having this discussion, you need to give us our space, like, in terms of that. And I think maybe the same might be applied to like light-skinned women. Like, it's not to say if you have the resource and the power, you don't necessarily have to center yourself in the discussion. It's not to say that your experience are not valid, but centering yourself is different. I'm not saying
I agree.
she centered
Yeah.
herself, but I definitely think there more ways, there are different ways of doing it. Like
Yeah.
if I was a light-skinned woman and there was a song about, you know, dark-skinned women or whatever, like I definitely would provide all the resources and connections and everything that I can give. It doesn't mean I need to be in the song. Like
I understand you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Try
though.
Yeah,
to
no,
put it in
she's
that way,
100%.
that's what we say to like white women, like let us speak about experiences by ourselves and stuff like that, just because it's more digestible. So I see the frustration, but I think that could be another alternative. And I think the best alternative for me would be to have the three women in the color studio and you know give them as much recognition. But the music industry does not work that way.
That's one thing I wanted to get
Period.
to.
Yeah,
The
the
music
music
industry is so, you know, it's all what's the word I'm looking for?
just
It's
want
all
money,
aesthetic, innit? For
literally.
the most part, aesthetic sells. Like first of all, like sorry, Annie is on Georgia Smith's label. So when you have an
Yeah, I heard
artist that
that,
is
yeah.
not even that big, she makes a song like that. Georgia Smith being the biggest artist of that label is gonna be like let me hop on this. And essentially that remix changed her life. A lot of things that
Definitely.
people don't even go into. So number one, Amia doesn't rap. She's a singer. She did the chorus in it. So putting Amia and Georgia Smith on the remix just for the sake of song structure would not necessarily work. If one
No,
of them was a
It
rapper,
actually worked because I went on YouTube the other day and someone actually mashed up all the different versions
Hmm.
together from the original one and the colors one, and I listened to it. I couldn't even tell the difference, but I realized they had like 3 parts. So
yeah, I'm actually gonna try and listen to
yeah,
that.
it can. I think it can definitely work. Like it's music. Like
Yeah, it is
definitely
music.
seen 2 random artists that we can't even picture together in like, I mean like flipping out like I don't know. Yemi
Drake and
Alade,
Wizkid.
yeah, like,
With
I know,
Beyonce, really, that was
Fucking
actually
Burna
a
Boy,
thing.
Burna Boy and Sam Smith.
Like
Yeah.
exactly. To a that big Sam Smith. like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, we've made a lot of things work. Like I think it's a lazy excuse.
100%. This girl's
I think it's
spitting.
I think it's a
Spitting.
lazy excuse. I think the different. Is it not song they're singing? Like,
That song they're
This is
singing.
they're singing.
like
Nah, I agree.
even
I
me say,
agree.
"Who they
Fair
put
enough.
me on it, sir? Me, I could give my own idea."
As in, if you put more auto-tune, Miss I'll be sounding like Michael
Yeah.
Jackson.
But then I just didn't think a lot of the attack was warranted because number one, the thing about Georgia Smith's verse, which was again incredible, she really didn't even personalize it. That's one thing. Like she was really,
She really said, and he said, like,
yeah, like any said, and then everything else, the struggles that she was talking to, were even stuff that she couldn't
Any
even
said,
necessarily,
yeah.
and it was even stuff that Georgia herself couldn't even necessarily relate to. It was just kind of her like bigging up black women in general.
Yeah,
And going back
definitely.
to the very first thing that Annie said on the song, which was there's Peng black girls in my area code, dark skin, light skin, medium tone.
Come
So
on. Sorry.
Abibat is
it's
so
clear
gas.
that the song wasn't necessarily for just one set
Yeah.
of black
yeah,
women. It
I
was
hear
for
that.
all black women. And one thing that's important to say, which is convenient because you're actually one, I've always said it, the most oppressed group of people on planet Earth are Muslim dark-skinned women. That is just a fact in my opinion. Those are the most oppressed people on planet Earth. So I understand why when there's songs like that, it's kind of like you want to just grab hold of it. You want to like songs like that
She
to
was really
empower
like,
you.
We're gonna be alright. Okay. Yeah, like you know, it was
Yeah.
very. When I listened to it, it felt like familiar. You know, when your grandma gives you a hug, you're like, yeah.
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 I'm about to go eat some
Yeah.
eba after this. Like everything's gonna be fine. My belly's
feel
gonna
you.
be full. Like
Yeah.
that kind of. It was very warm. So I definitely hear that. Like the message is not to specifically dark-skinned women. It was to all
Yeah.
shades of black women. But I feel like
Some people just want to.
some people hold it to heart
Yeah.
more than others might do, and
Yeah.
that would be why. But I think we shouldn't negate other people's black experience.
Yeah, and then it's going back to the summer of 2019 when Beyonce dropped the Lion King album. Like obviously the song Brown Skin Girl. This
Yeah.
whole same thing happened again. Basically, like there was a whole trend of saying that light skinned people shouldn't be singing these songs and their stories and stuff like that. That was the thing, and I was like, what? Like who Beyonce made this song for? It's for black women. So then why do we always have to be divisive? That was my
Do you know
thing
what-
with
do you
it.
know what? I hear the notion on being divided. I hear it, but I just feel like, as I said again, like when it's just a specific group of women who've had this specific experience, holding something tied to your chest might just be different than how other people might hold it to your chest. Because
Okay.
like when Beyonce sang that brown skin girl.
Yeah.
Like you see like people like Lupita, Kelly
Yeah.
Rowland, like
Were
them
being
girls,
mentioned.
Like,
Yeah.
were being mentioned. Like although it was dark,
Brown
brown
skin.
skin girl,
Yeah.
brown skin girl. Like you get what I mean. Like she even within that song, she highlighted that I'm a one for like brown skin girl, but specifically these type of. You get what I mean? So I feel like it is kind of like people who hold it, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think it's when people start to become mean about it is when it starts. Because honestly, Georgia is still gonna be rich if you accuse her on Twitter. Like, baby is still she's still cute. Like she can't. I feel like she tried. Like, do you get what I mean? Even drumming on the song gave the song much more traction. Not to say
Changed Annie's life.
Yeah, the song did have traction initially. Like period, the song had traction because I found it without Georgia Smith. But if we try to get the song to other audience, like that's the thing that people need to remember is that the music industry. They're trying to make money. Like at the end of the day, the music industry is about money. Like they want to make money off a song as much as they can, and if that is one of the avenue for making money, it's gonna go.
So you think it's a strategic thing to put Georgia on the song as opposed to any other person? Say they put SZA on the song.
If they put the song would have therefore blown, but it's just that type of like recognition as well. Because having SZA on it would widen the audience. It's not to say that. I'm in London. That was how I came across the song.
Yeah.
Black Twitter in general, UK Black Twitter.
Yeah.
But then it's not to say someone in I don't know, India Black Twitter. Would reach. But if they had an artist that they listen to, it's just wider reach as well. So I definitely understand in terms of reach. But again, 3 women could have been on the song and it would have still banged.
Yeah.
Did they give a reason for actually removing her? Or no, it wasn't.
They didn't really give. There was no reason, but at the end of the day, it's just like number one, just going into music label, blah blah blah. Number one, Amia is independent. She's not on that label, and then Annie and Georgia are on that label. So then just optics and like I said, obviously, audience. Like I said, you say music is music, innit? But then I don't know how these producers think or whatever. But then maybe the thought was, oh, why do we need 2 singers to sing one chorus or whatever the case may be? I don't know if I agree with that.
Or maybe they didn't even think about it. Or
maybe they even think about that. Oh,
these 2 people are who are signed to us, and it might have not been consciously like, oh, let's look at skin tone and it definitely might not have been like that, but at the same time as well. Yeah.
It could have been. It really could have been.
The optic, it just doesn't. I feel like it just doesn't look good. Like,
it didn't.
For me, watching it, like I don't know all the back. I don't know the back workings. I don't know how it all works. Like, behind stage and stuff like that. But as someone who's just watching both, I'm like, bro, like you took my girl out, like.
I feel you.
Like,
you know, the initial video you saw of Georgia first. So Georgia was the main person you saw in that video. Yeah, they didn't really show any.
Yeah, on the like the TikTok and Twitter.
Yeah,
is that a
TikTok
bad
promotion?
Thing?
Yeah,
is that a bad thing? Because Georgia is the big artist. Do you get what I mean?
The thing is, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like,
it's not a bad thing, but it's just not fair. I don't think it's music, business, politics, and I hate it. Yeah, that's just what it is. Because
we have to be realistic.
You have to be realistic about these things because Georgia's face will sell. Because
it's Georgia.
Because it's light skin. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think we need to keep. Don't say because it's Georgia because it's not light skin. Because to make an artist successful, different things come into play with it. I'm not saying Georgia Smith is big because she's light skinned, but it definitely plays a part in it because
absolutely
some skin tones are just more palatable to other people from different cultures. We can't. I feel like to ignore skin tone is to say colorism doesn't exist, period. But I'm not saying she's not good, but in terms of what people are more likely to take in, what people are more likely to digest, in terms of what's palatable to some certain audiences, she might just be, and it's not to sleep on her talent because she's talented. I use Destiny's Child as a perfect example. We see in terms of Beyonce and
Kelly Rowland
and
Michelle,
in terms of their reception, like even Beyonce having Kelly Rowland on that black skin girl brown skin girl video, and we saw you saw when they both held each other's hand and Beyonce was kind of like talking to her and stuff like that. Like Beyonce just even herself highlights like the colorism even that played maybe not outwardly, but like that Kelly would have faced and she might have not been faced with the same thing. Like we can't say that and ignore. I just think saying that alone, that just because she's good, that's of course she's good, but it's also people buy music and people buy music for certain reasons, like to get one and that consciously or unconsciously it does play into it. So
absolutely,
I think it might not be a huge factor, but it's part of it,
one of it.
Because the thing is with music labels, whatever the case may be, like let's be honest, a lot of them would never say it, But a Georgia Smith, for example, you see is that light skin, she can sing, she has a nice body, whatever. Like music labels, to see that would be like, yes, money maker.
Aesthetics
Le-
play into
You know-
it. I don't know about how, maybe not how you explained it, but I think
I'm
aesthetics.
pretty sure that they
into
think
it.
like that because that's what sells at the end of the day.
Who knows Ma Rainey?
Mari.
I watched that.
Yeah,
I
you know,
watched
it's
Netflix,
based
yeah.
off a real social natural
Yeah,
woman,
I know,
and
yeah.
she sold so much even in those times, and she was black.
But even
Big.
even when you watch that Marraine,
Yeah.
because I watched it as well, and I kind of like watched some of the.
Mhm.
What you realize is the fact that even though she was dark skinned, the only thing that gave her, she was just a music making machine for the white.
That is
producers.
also true.
Mm.
That's literally what she was. And if she didn't have her money, because it was what allowed her to direct people anyhow.
Yeah, she had her money.
Yeah.
On that scene when they were on the road and the police almost stopped them and stuff.
Yeah.
The white guy literally had to pay them off, and he even showed that even regardless of how much money she has,
He was still trying
in a
to.
position where like there's an exchange between her and an external white man,
Yeah.
she is still going to be like the
lesser,
denominator,
yeah.
exactly,
Mhm.
even within that as well. So it was her money was a huge part of it. I get you that she was well known. Of course, black women, like, we've been making music, we've been
Yeah.
doing big shows, charts and stuff like that. But even today, if I'm like name like 5 dark skin artists, I know you say Scissor.
It's actually quite
It's
difficult.
difficult.
Yeah.
It is, and it just goes to show like there is definitely a problem there. And I think to not say skin tone plays a part is very like it will just be erasure.
Yeah, it'd be ignorant to say.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
it'd absolutely be ignorant to say. And even a lot of these
Well,
things,
well done bringing that up though.
it'd be ignorant to say. And even a lot of these things, especially earlier on in music, obviously people are more woke now, wherever the case may be. But
Yeah.
then stuff from dressing to makeup and stuff like that, everyone's trying to fit into these European standards of beauty. So just to kind of appease
Yeah, because,
mainstream
yeah,
music.
Yeah, definitely. I literally would keep saying like what people can consume is even now looking racially ambiguous is so in. Like people want to look racially ambiguous.
Of
because
course.
that is what is
Hated, but
currently
yeah.
selling. Like, do you get what I mean? Of course,
Yeah.
it's not your fault if you're mixed race. Like, come on, you're born that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't come with its advantages. If
Mm.
you look racially ambiguous right now, like literally, white women will tan their skin to some degree, to look like certain. It's not like they're not becoming
Yeah.
completely black. They're not like, oh,
Yeah.
I definitely want to be a black girl, but they're picking and choosing
What they
black
accept.
features
Yeah.
that they really want in
Like,
themselves, and
yeah.
that is what is selling in
Yeah.
the market. It's
Yeah.
a huge thing on Instagram. Blackfishing is a huge thing right now.
Huge thing.
Literally.
Still sounds so mad to
What,
me.
like
you know,
Yeah.
black
Yeah.
fishing.
Well, I think the phenomenon with blackfishing is just the ability, the power. You have the power to pick and choose because you're picking. I like.
I like
it.
that one.
Yeah, I like that,
I like that one,
yeah.
It's
yeah.
almost like when people order them GM babies or whatever they call it.
Oh yeah.
God.
It's like
I want him to have nice eyes.
exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time. They want to be black till it's time to be
Be black,
Literally,
yeah.
Word,
100%.
bro.
that kind of thing is what. So we can't literally
Yeah.
say that aesthetics don't play a huge part because it does. Like
It does. It does.
you live
That's
in-
why I'm
yeah.
always on black men's neck that, essentially go at black women, especially is like, oh, like they don't have these feet. It's like, oh, black women are this, black women are that. They don't have this, they don't have that.
What
But
don't
it's
they have?
crazy.
What actually
What
don't
don't
they
black
have?
women have? Like, I'm not even gonna get. We all know that
For this
me.
hype, I'll put my PayPal at the end of all of it.
No, obviously black women are queens. All the projects of black beautiful women. So there's just leaving that alone. But apart from that, is that a lot of the things, that a lot of these black men or whatever would go looking into other races for are stuff that they've essentially stolen from black women,
Mm.
from the style to the shades of their skin, stuff like that they've done to try to match black women especially. So that's therefore self-hate.
Do you think it's fully their fault? Wait. I like to say this. We always talk about self-hate when it's a black person looking for white people, but not when it's a white person tanning.
It's
their skin
also
for example.
self-hate.
Is this self-hate? Can it really be self-hate by definition? Can
Why
they
not?
really
Because they've been
They've been superior, yeah. So how can they hate themselves?
Understand, like even literally, like we live in a world like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, like
Rules all.
we're being consistently fed a certain message. Like you can't tell me that a girl, if you spend 5-6 hours on Instagram every day, you can't tell me that you haven't looked at your body and felt some type of way. Because if you're constantly being fed pictures of women that look
a certain way, yeah. You look at
Yeah.
yourself.
exactly what you see continuously, low key, you kind of become it a bit. literally,
Yeah.
or you try to become it, and it definitely does play a part in it. So I definitely do think that, like, you know, it's a huge factor. Like,
Yeah.
white people, if they're being fed pictures of, you know, on Instagram as well, racially ambiguous women, you know, with
Mm-hmm.
this wide hips and this tiny ass waist, that's like, some people might want to just look like that. Like, you see some women,
feel you.
some white
Just
women,
do
some
you,
white
man.
women can definitely do say, like, you know, they'll even unashamedly, yeah.
Hey,
They
bagel.
would say unashamed, like, you know, I want a mixed race baby, like, and I
Ugh.
think
Yeah.
that's so weird. Like, you just want a mixed race baby. What's your husband, a
Yeah.
sperm bank? Like, you don't even got a man yet, and you know you
You
want a
ain't even got a man.
Yeah.
I feel you.
And I just think that that's so. It's not even the thought of you wanting. Of course, you can date whoever you
Yeah.
want. Like, come on, date. But it's why are you?
Can we really date whoever we want? Black people should date black people,
Guy,
man.
please.
We will link the Tanya episode.
In my opinion, anyway, I think honestly, love should be the common thing between you. And
I
whoever you
agree.
want.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I don't mind. Go and marry, date whoever you want. But a lot of people need to realize, especially black men, this is the tough truth. But a lot of you need to understand you are a fetish, you are a phase. There's going to go to a
Guy,
certain point.
relax.
No,
Relax.
no, it's the truth.
Man said
Bro,
relax.
it's the
Relax.
truth,
No,
bro. I've
that
seen
is
it
an
happen too
assumption.
many
Yeah,
times.
I think that's
No,
that's
bro,
a-
I've seen it happen
Assumption,
too.
bro.
I didn't say all cases. I never said all cases,
But you said
but
most. How did you arrive at your conclusion?
It's like,
just case studies I've seen in front of me,
You've
bro.
seen.
Yeah.
How many case studies have you analyzed?
Okay, my point is, let's even say the fact is, whether it's even one or two cases, even though it's more, a lot of things are just a phase, innit? Because at a certain point they'll just see you, they want
But
the things that they assume black men have. Such I don't even need to get into it, but you
that's
know,
also problematic in its own way as well, because
super
honestly,
problematic.
Is it
If
really?
you're, I don't know, I don't think
Ifeanyi, let me know
I
even.
don't think anyone should ever be a phase. Like, imagine someone saying, I just dated your black ass because you were a phase. Like,
Then say your own back now.
I mean,
But will it really be the
I
same?
don't mean like that, but it's always kind of like saying, you know, oh, you Nubian goddess, I just wanna XYZ with you. I just wanna. It's just like, if a
is
woman
that
was saying
wrong?
that to me-
I
No,
mean-
because the thing is, you've basically come with a fixed perception of what I am and what you want, what you think I'll be able to give you. And the thing is, even as the song shows, we assume, like, what's to say I like Nubia or Egypt, or what the hell is Nubia anyway?
I feel you. No, I understand. I understand that. I understand that.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like, for all you know, like, you know, I'm learning to rock as well. Like,
God,
I feel you.
Rock, like, clown.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
You shouldn't
it's just
corner black people into listening to a certain type of music or
Yeah.
doing.
it's like,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, just even those Instagram, you know, oiled up black women, you know, in the Ankara bikinis.
Yeah.
And stuff, like,
Mhm.
not all of us are like.
I like that. Yeah.
All of us are
Yeah.
like that. Like, I don't look like I'm gonna go into the oven anytime soon. Like,
Days.
like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time as well, it's not all of us. So it's
I
kind
feel
of
you.
like,
Yeah.
when you do that, you're coming with a perception, or when you're like, oh, I just wanna mix race. Like, first, in the case of white women, I just want a mixed race baby.
Mm-hmm.
Your child can actually come out being
Really black. Look at logic.
being dark.
Yeah.
Oh,
King
being
says
very
it,
white,
and now
like-
those are the features that you don't even want.
Like,
And
yeah.
you then take that out on the child as they grow up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's also, that's a problem as well. Like, if you're genuinely dating someone because you love them, not because of their skin tone, or you want a
Yeah.
light skin, loose curls,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then you
It's
will love
preference.
them
See,
regardless.
It's preference. So I ask a question.
Here we go with this Twitter question.
Is preference a bad thing?
This is my thing with preference. You can have a preference, but just don't be destructive to the ones you don't like.
I
For
think-
example, let me finish. Sorry,
Ooh,
but for
okay.
example,
Rain on your
example,
parade.
if your dating history is white women, that is actually okay.
No,
but
it's
then
not.
let
That's
me
a black
finish.
man.
Let me
Wait,
finish.
wait,
Let me
wait,
let me
let's
finish
relax.
now.
I'm
It is
really on
okay.
my
However, if you're the black man that says they ask you, is like, oh, why don't you like black women? Because of, or is it why do you date white women? And your answer is insulting black women. That wasn't
No,
the
wait,
question.
wait. Let me start.
So I'm talking to those people.
But why would a
No,
black
wait,
man in his
bro.
right senses?
Wait. If you
Omo.
come
You'll
out,
be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
Only
man.
white
chill
women
before I
since
forget this.
only-
No, let me find go. Let me find go.
It depends. Like, if you're not, like, literally black people, like, we make up not even 5% of the UK's population. Just statistically speaking, you're more likely, if we were to break it down to statistics,
That's what I was telling you, niggas, man. Continue.
Okay.
That's what?
Nothing. Continue.
But you're more likely to date like a, you know, like
A
a
white
white woman,
person.
like a white woman, just
Because we're a
by-
minority.
No, that
because
makes
we're a
sense.
minority in, like, do you get what I mean? I don't. The reason why I don't fall for preference is just that biologically, I know like attraction doesn't work on a racial basis. Like regardless of your race, the penis and the vagina works the same way. Like, do you get?
I think it's a lot more
No, I think-
complicated
I
than
think
that.
That's a bit.
I think it's a lot more complicated than that. I think race does.
I'm literally breaking it down to like the basics. Like, let's say
Mm.
we're all like, I don't know, what walking in, I don't know, sheepskin or whatever it is. Like, do you get
Fizz.
what I mean? Like, if it's just based down to basic biology, I don't even think your race will even play a part in it because, but that's not reducing everything to reproduction, which isn't always the case.
Yeah.
Because not everyone can reproduce and stuff like that. But just based off of that, like people just are attracted to what they're attracted to. But I think it's also, remember, like, you're a product of your environment sometimes as well. Like, I'm more likely to date a black man, for example, because in my house I see black men. I interact more with black men in comparison to white men. So over time, that has been what I've been familiarized with. But it's not. I'm not gonna come and say white men. I think there's definitely some really good looking white men out there, like Ryan Gosling. I'm just to say, like, I wouldn't then go and say, I don't like white men. I don't say that because I can be attracted to a white man.
That's what black people expect you to say, though.
That what?
Some people that you don't like white women, you don't like white men. You can only date a white man. You can,
Just
sorry, a
for
black
me, my own
man.
is not even like some people.
I don't agree
some
with
people,
that,
it's
though.
not even like white or black. Some people you just need to be Nigerian. Some people's one is not even a racial thing anymore. It's even specific to
That's my own, Sha.
You know, I've always said I'm married
That's
a
my own. I need to
Nigerian
marry a
woman
Nigerian
one day.
woman. No,
I said it.
and it's not
Ideally.
because there's
I'm married
nothing.
a
It's not
Nigerian
because there's
woman one
something
day,
wrong
bro.
with other women. It's just I
It's just
vibe
it's
more.
easier for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
same.
I
It's
vibe
what I
more, yeah.
understand
Exactly. So
and what
Yeah.
I'm in love with, essentially. Like,
sometimes you're just not a product of your environment, but it's just what you feel more comfortable with, what you do see yourself in the future. Like, it would be a lot harder for you if you dated like not even a Nigerian woman, but like, let's say like a Congolese woman who grew up in this country.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit harder for you. Like, it's not to say that you don't love each other, but it's just a bit harder. Culture's different.
Yeah.
And they don't even have a full Congolese context because they grew up in England as well. So there's
Mm,
an English context
Practically
On top of
that.
that, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's just like, and it plays a huge part basically.
I feel you.
Bro, Nigerian
I feel
women
you.
don't want to marry me because I have a UK
Accent.
Yeah.
obviously marry me in it, but
Good thing going into Ifeanyi's
There's
point, I
something
actually kind of relate to and get it. Like, I'll be honest with myself, like, in
Oh,
a
yeah?
lot of ways. Like,
Don't go and cast
Bring it
yourself.
out.
yeah.
Don't say
Okay.
anything dangerous.
One thing, it's not even dangerous.
I'm
One thing
recording
that I
this.
know is like, even dating or whatever the case may be, a lot of it is pattern on what you know. For example, with me, tried and failed. I know I can never pull a British girl, a British black
How
woman.
do you know?
Bro,
Doctor.
How they
I know
pull them,
enough.
oh.
It's not gonna happen. Bro, I know. It's not even, I just know I've tried, I failed. It's just not my thing in it. But then
maybe it's just you. Maybe you ain't got sauce.
maybe. That's what I'm saying. Maybe. Me, I don't know. But
just joking, I'm
Sha,
just joking.
what I end up moving to successfully, or either Nigerian women, or women that grew up in some part of Africa, or even an American, I don't know. But my point,
All the way, all the way to America.
because I
Cross the
lived there, innit?
How long?
I stepped out of the bed for a minute.
Not all day for a minute talking about I live there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Have I? Nah. Not yet, but soon.
Keep
Because said you
exposing
live.
Yeah, so maybe even one day I may be able to successfully move to UK for time living here. But my whole point is going back to your thing, yeah, is that say a black man that grew up in, let's just say, fucking Guernsey or whatever, that all you've ever known is white women. That's all that's around you. For the most part, it's more than likely you're going to go out to be attracted to a white woman because that's all that's around you, bar your family.
I mean,
So-
go through and wife whoever you want to wife.
Sometimes attraction works weirdly, That's the
Very
thing as well.
weirdly.
Attraction just works weirdly because sometimes you just don't know. Like, it
Mm.
wouldn't even be it. That's why I'm literally one for like, how some people are like, oh, I wouldn't date a white person. Honestly, you know what? This black love thing that people push as well, like
It's forced.
I don't have a problem with black love. I love black love. My parents are examples of black love, but honestly, black love doesn't mean someone can't be abusive in that relationship. Black love doesn't mean
Yeah.
someone can't have
Yeah.
Thank you.
black
Oh.
love doesn't mean, like, do you get what I mean? It is black love, but at the same time as well, like, they're just I'm for black love. I'm for it if it's if you feel
It's healthy.
really loved, if it's
Yeah.
healthy. But honestly, if you dated someone and it's not to say generalizing black people, but if you dated someone and it wasn't if for the sake of black love, quote unquote, and you didn't feel
You're dating someone who's a piece of
like
shit.
who's a piece of shit. Like honestly, just date a person who you're fully healthy with, who you connect with, and who you things like that.
Can I say something? So, wait,
Let's
Oh,
find-
good.
no. So, why can't you now find that in a black
No,
person?
because I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't.
I love
I'm not-
Okiki because
I'm
it's a
not saying you
gender.
can't, but sometimes, no, I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't at all. But I'm saying whatever it is you're seeking in any person,
Yeah.
that should be your priority, not
Not the color of
not
their
Not the
skin.
color of their skin.
But it's not to say
Yeah.
that you don't have a higher percentage of dating someone with like darker skin
Yeah.
or black woman, for example. But I just think whatever
Yeah.
is healthy
For you.
whatever is that brings that out.
At the end of the day, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Sometimes, like, obviously, me, I am a big fan of black or whatever the case may be. But then don't force yourself into be it an abusive relationship or even just someone you're not vibing yourself with just of the fact that like, oh, Twitter said I should go out with a
Twitter
black
said,
woman.
does Twitter pay your bill?
I know.
There's a lot of
100%,
people
100%.
live and die of like the opinions of
Twitter
Twitter.
said-
Go get a healthy
Yeah.
relationship with a
Man.
black person.
With anybody.
I beg
There's
with
something he
anybody.
said that
oh.
struck me the wrong
I
way,
beg.
actually.
What?
Did you say? How did it strike?
You said something. Wait, whoa.
Look, now you just wanted to attack me on no basis.
I think it's a bit mad that some people would see an interracial couple, a black man and a white woman, and then they'd assume that there's no possible way the white woman can love the black man, apart from the fact that she has a fetish for him.
I
Or
did not
that-
say that.
No, that's what you said.
No,
When you
no,
were saying
I
black
s-
man, you're a fetish. It doesn't matter when you.
I didn't
And you
say
even said
that
most.
straight. I
You even
said
said most.
yeah. Okay, cool. I said maybe most was
I
the
think-
wrong one,
I
but I
think that's a
said
bit
okay.
crazy.
What I should have said is that in some, I won't even say some for the sake of whatever, but in a lot of cases,
No,
yeah,
how do you know it's a lot of kisses?
Oh,
It's
God.
more likely, to be honest.
It's more like
How is it more likely?
okay. I would even
On the topic a bit.
literally with dealt, but it's important to say. So it's stuff that's important to say. Like fuck it, in cases, sha, whether it's a lot, some, or whatever, you're a fetish. You need to understand
think-
that you
I
are.
mean, you
a
can't really know
fetish.
that until you know the person's intention.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you're trying to
No,
measure
because
someone's
even
thinking.
some people don't even realize that
That they're having a fetish.
Yeah.
I've literally worked with. Oh, let me not out here, but yeah, I've literally worked like when I was in like sixth form. Or so,
Yeah.
I had a job in a little shoe shop, and this girl asked me like, "What's your type?" And I was like, "Oh, nice, tall, give her my preference."
Yeah.
And then she was just like, she literally just said to me, "Black men," and I said, "Huh?"
But I feel like you would know.
You
Like,
didn't
this
mention
is-
race.
I didn't mention race.
Mad.
Like, I don't think I mentioned race, but I think it was quite obvious that I would have been
Been,
just because of that area
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But then she just said black men. I was like, oh, that was the.
Did you guys see on the TL? I think I
That's the
sent.
point of contact,
Man.
right? You didn't even say nice, lovely. You just said he has to be black.
Black,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, like yeah.
Sorry, you.
Did you guys see on the TL? I'm sure I put it in the GC between us here. Basically, this is group chat was just filled with white women here. Just sending for black men things that all they have is dick,
But all
they
that
smell,
proves-
they're desperate,
wait, chill,
stuff
but
like that,
wait,
innit? And I was
wait.
just like, rah,
Wait,
like,
but all that proves is
And the
that
black
it
men were even
happened.
simping, saying that it's true, that she didn't do
How
anything
do we
wrong.
even know those are black men?
They were black.
no, they were
No,
black
how-
men.
no, that's
Literally,
not,
they were
that's
They
not-
were
That
black
was-
men
that was-
simping, bro.
It was this British. It was from a British. I think I could tell it was British.
Yeah.
Because of the way they were like typing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were British. They were.
Yeah, but I think because remember as well, I think they're most likely teenagers, like because it was also a Snapchat conversation as well. Like I don't know what grown adult women are having conversations in a group chat on Snapchat.
I'm sorry.
You
you-
shocked
I
you.
don't
You
know-
shocked
I
you,
don't know what
man.
26, 27-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
That's your main
Fair,
form
sure.
of
Communication, yeah.
for you, innit? But I
Yeah.
don't
You should be working on your Indeed, your LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. My LinkedIn papisha. But anyway,
Everything, papi, you
like
choose.
That's how puppy, man.
anyway, when I was seeing that, I was like, do you know what?
Yeah.
They were basically speaking from experience. They were like,
Mm.
but these are teenagers. They're like, honestly, some teenagers, they're moving. You know when you're like a teenager and you're like a room of different genders and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
bit charged, isn't it? Like, oh,
Mm.
he's looking at me some type of like. I just feel like for teenagers as well, because it's a lot more charged in terms of like attraction, like
Yeah.
that's what they're like hormones and
That's what into, yeah.
and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, if I call, I think one of them said if I call a black guy right now, it will come here.
No.
That's why I
yeah.
said-
Now. And I'm just like, well, this doesn't really it's not doesn't really speak nicely of the whole black population, but maybe it's the group of boys that they know because
Well,
Yes,
men actually
true.
like that.
A lot of men are like that.
Men
Sha,
actually
it's
like
true.
that.
Like just call
Like-
them
they're on
more.
it, like,
They're very. If you,
For sex?
I don't for sex, man.
A lot
I
of
don't
men
want to.
will
I don't
go.
want to generalize, but call some of your guy friends. So yeah, today, well, let's do it.
It's like, let's do it.
Is there anything wrong with that?
They will come.
They will
Guy friend
come.
like
They will
the
come.
thing is, it's not a bad thing, but it's the way the girls kind of like framed it, like
Mm,
black
yeah.
men are sex hungry, and it kind of feeds into that kind of like.
That's what people
that
believe.
image, that kind of like black men are very much like sex hungry, sex
Yeah, aggressive,
driven, kind of
yeah.
aggressive, and they
Yeah.
wanna take your pure virginal.
Yo.
Yo.
Purity away from you.
I feel you,
that's
yeah.
That very much that kind of like vibe, and that was what I got from that GC as well. And I'm just like, it's very it generalizes, but they're generalizing, but it's just the black men they've encountered that
Mm,
have done, and the fact that they all collectively agreed.
I feel you.
Yeah, for me, that won't
Yeah.
concern them, sure. It's their
Fair
own
enough.
business. If they want
Fair
to think
enough.
like that, it concern me.
Man.
Just to bring it back to the convo
Abi.
On the music video, yeah,
black girls, yeah.
yeah.
Should I go? Okay, yeah, I'll go. I definitely liked it. I think in terms, as I said again, like obviously it's not really like skin tone. It's not the main thing, but it plays a part as well. And I said a lot about
Definitely.
like digestibility and audience and stuff like that. It definitely plays a part. But honestly, I just wanted Amaya. I wanted her to do really. I want her to do really well. As
Mm.
well
I want
because-
black women to do really well.
Period.
Period. Bro.
Like, and I just like that. She just had that jazzy tone, like to her voice, like very
Yeah.
bluesy, very cool.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, like.
I feel you. I
I
feel
feel
you.
this, and I just feel like, even though it wasn't intended, it kind of like extracted her away from it, and
Mm.
that speaks a lot more volume than not having than having her in it instead.
Yeah.
It'd be nicer to have seen the three of them in it, in my opinion. But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you.
Speaking about
No.
just how race, skin tone, and stuff like that just plays such a heavy part in the media industry. I remember this one rapper, white guy. I think his name was Gliz, or whatever. This white. I'm sure. I don't know if you guys really saw it. This one white rapper is tall-ish, and he dropped a bar in Yoruba, shouting out to a savage or whatever, and then he blew up like so quickly because it's like, oh my god, this white guy just rapped in Yoruba, blah 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 blah. Like we should feel
Well, I seen
so
that.
on
Yeah.
like stuff like that just seriously
Same.
bothers me, man, because you see like the rap was okay, the guy can
It's
rap
pretty
in it.
good. It's pretty
What?
good for a white guy.
Man, I don't understand what we're saying.
But
It's
the
like
thing
the
is-
guy can rap in
good.
it, but then just off the premise that the guy dropped a singular bar in Yoruba, and
It
he
wasn't
said-
because of the bar though. He was actually a good rapper. I think.
no that
I think,
bro, it was the
you
Yoruba
remember,
thing that
as
propelled him.
Nigerians, we get so gassed.
When someone else,
Yeah.
When I grew up in Nigeria, when they, when especially like how people move around, like white people, sometimes it's almost kind of the way
Yeah.
black people are
Yeah.
carried on such a
Pedestal.
on a
Pedestal,
like,
bro.
it wasn't until I moved to England that I had to kind of like
Is it these people?
This is
Yeah.
ordinary Jake. Ordinary Jake, I beg.
maybe not like that, maybe not like that, but it wasn't until I moved to England that I was like, fam, these people are, they're the same. Like in this country,
Yeah.
there's poverty just as much as there's richness.
Yeah.
There's
That's what I was
homelessness just as
saying,
much as
man.
there's homelessness.
Although it's
Yeah.
not as
Like,
serious.
it's not
Yeah,
as serious,
but it's there.
but it's
But
still there
yeah.
as well, and it's just like we all face our own things. But in Nigeria, that period as well, like I remembered one of my uncle came home with like his Oyinbo babe from Germany, like don't get me wrong, she's very pretty, like honestly, very gorgeous woman and stuff like that. But it was almost the way like even if other family members were like carrying her like she was glass.
I feel you.
In essence, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it just kind of, for me, seeing that it sends a message, like regardless if you do
Yeah.
something or don't do something, it says a lot about about how you view the person. And it was just like we really do carry white people on a high
On
pedestal.
pedestal.
And he
especially-
needs to stop.
Bro,
Even
I
in the
think we
new
should cut
age.
Nigerians some
even-
slack, man.
Wait.
I think this is a
Okay,
human
cool.
thing because
yeah,
it's a
fair
country
enough.
full
Yeah.
of black
Give it an
people. There are
example,
just it's a super minority. How many white people have I
But at the
seen in
same time, look at
Nigeria?
these
To be fair,
Nigerian.
no,
But you
if
hear-
you take black people to China as well, they be
No,
touching our heads.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
oh,
that's
who are
what-
these?
But the thing is,
Yeah.
the thing is when it's reversed in an American or British context,
Yeah.
if you come here, you're not.
No, but
Yeah, but
that's
if you go to
relatively
Asia, though-
different. If you go to Asia,
If you go to Asia, China, like
Yeah.
what he's
Or
saying,
even these countries, a lot of
That I don't
there's
necessarily agree with that point
there's
because
anti-blackness in Asian culture.
There is also anti-black whiteness in
Whiteness
Nigeria.
in
A lot. If a white person is the only person in his school, bruv, or only 3 of them,
Yeah.
they will get fucked
They will
up.
get
Yeah, they get fucked up.
yeah,
You get what I mean?
But at the same time, going back to the media industry, for example, I'm sure you guys watched the new age Nigerian movies on Netflix, whatever the case may be. What's one thing that you notice now? Somehow, some way, even if it doesn't even make sense with the story, they'll find a way to squeeze a white person into that movie. I don't know why, whether it's for
Ain't nothing wrong with
culture,
that.
relevant. No, to me, I think
Ain't nothing wrong with that
sometimes I think
because
it's
we
forced.
no.
How do you know
Sometimes
it's
it's
forced?
definitely
I
forced.
think sometimes because I think I don't really watch Nollywood. I can't.
Yeah.
But I've seen like the wedding. What's it called?
The wedding party.
And I thought, I thought the girl made sense to the scene. Like,
Yeah, actually,
No,
she
Wayne
did as
Party was
well.
like, I'm not even talking about Wayne Party. I've watched a lot of other, which that same actor, by the way, she's been in 3 different movies. So now everyone just knows that, okay, like when we need a white woman for African movie,
She'll
like
be
we'll
there.
go to her, innit? But then a lot of it just seems so forced. Like it's not necessary
I think
sometimes.
it might seem forced because that's not what you're used to seeing. So you're
Thank
kind of
you.
Like, what's
Thank
this
you.
agenda they're trying to put on me? But
Yeah.
a lot of times, some people are literally just trying to make it, and like even me now, if all fails, if you see me in a Nollywood movie or 2, like,
But I do think we have an inferiority complex.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Because you even see with people's accents. So guys, speak your
pidgin.
Yoruba
Your
accent,
Yoruba,
or
your
Igbo
pidgin,
accents,
yeah.
man. People will be concocting accents you've never heard before in your life just so they can fit.
They've
in.
only been here for
West-
1 year or
Even
6
the ones
months.
who haven't even come here yet.
Yes, they've never come
Like,
here, man.
Just
I
speak
think-
however you
Yeah.
can,
But
man.
I think it's easier said. Like we need to remember as well. Here I go again, colonization. But as much as I say that as well, like it's kind of like it's only now, especially as the black community, if I can say that, just generally, it's only now that it's only recently we've started to push back against those ideas.
Yeah.
For the way blackness has been constructed for centuries.
Yeah.
The pushback hasn't lasted for as long as
Of course,
the
yeah.
construction
Yeah.
lasted. So till then, it's still just gonna be something we keep pushing back against, because a lot of times we don't even realize it is, but we see, like as I was saying before, like bleaching cream, like the countries that sell and buy it the most.
You hate to see it, man.
Even countries where it's really hot and stuff like that, and it's not because they don't like ourselves.
Mm.
It's just because the construction again of whiteness has been so long lasting.
Shoved down our throats. Yeah.
Nigeria,
Yeah.
even I was reading somewhere like in some Chinese kind of or Korean skincare stuff, they even have lightning agents and they don't even specify it is, because it's just the norm. Like people just buy it anyway.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I remember seeing, going back to China or whatever, there's something that people feel like there's a whole Chinese advert. They had to take it out. Basically,
with the
it was
black
this.
guy in
What?
in the black guy in the washing machine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
I've seen them.
basically, yeah, like there was this couple, yeah. There's a Chinese woman and a black guy, and then obviously his clothes were dirty or whatever. Then she threw him into the wash, and he came out,
That's what my girl-
Asian,
yeah.
like very white passing
yeah.
Asian, whatever.
When
So
did
just
you-
kind of give up. There was like, oh, this washing machine gets rid of stains or whatever the case may
What the
be.
fuck?
Like,
So-
even
people are
so when I
stains on
stains
skin.
on
Yes, I was just like, oh my god, like
So we are
does it get
stains,
more. Oh man, that one bothered me, bro. A lot of these things are just so. I even hate the fact that Okiki, let's be honest. If we were to go to Lagos today, I was to go to a function. If you just give them small in it, some girls will melt, bro. That's
Me?
an inferiority complex.
Or they'll
bro.
melt because I'm a fine boy.
Oh,
Sorry, sorry.
I mean, no.
After you,
No.
then you again.
No, I feel you. I understand what he
Yeah.
means. Yeah,
It's an inferiority
100%,
complex.
100. But I think it's not because of the in it. It's because they think that me coming from
means you're wealthy.
You're wealthy,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah.
understand.
Because of
I
the
think,
innate.
I think that one as well. It's also a combination of different things of what you see as having a better life for yourself, and like
Yeah,
if I associate myself
Yeah.
with this is what
it's gonna. Yeah,
this is
it's
what's
gonna
gonna give me.
happen.
But I think
Yeah.
just to go off topic a bit, but I think that there's so much potential in Nigeria, like
100%.
Facts.
Yeah.
the potential is so mad, like literally the pay stack current, like the pay stack and the what's the other one called?
Oh yeah, the app that those guys made up. Yeah.
like,
Mm-hmm.
that they sold off
200M,
to,
yeah.
like even more
Against all
Plus,
odds.
literally, and it just goes to show, like apart from that alone, like there's so much potential in
100,
Nigeria, and
yeah.
So much.
sometimes it doesn't mean I don't see anything wrong with looking to the systems here to work that we can. I don't see anything wrong with
Implement them back
implementing
home. Yeah.
similar systems as well, but I think like we can definitely do just as well. And
Yeah.
100%.
honestly, like I feel like as much
100%.
as it is, as I said, the construction of whiteness has lasted for so long that we think it needs to be here for it to work. perfectly because even as diasporan Africans like that are here, a lot of like Nigerian kids that grow up here, some of them have that mentality that when I go back to Nigeria, I'm really doing them a favor. Like, you know, I'm gonna go and really implement all this, you know, technology thing there. Like, you know, but you know, even some of them speak about back home, they really speak about it like, you know, it's all trenches and water. Like,
Yeah, I feel you.
And I think even that in itself also feeds to like that's an anti-black thought as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously there's different things in Nigeria and Africa to just do the general.
Yeah.
But just for you to think it's that backwater.
Yeah, that's there. Every single place.
It's just the same thought as white people going to, you know, we're gonna go and, you know, give these people salvation and go.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
It's along the same thing.
Lines,
Even though you're black, it doesn't mean you can't still have
this kind of thought.
Anti-black
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Definitely.
See what we have on the podcast.
Spitting facts.
Do you get what I mean?
With the wisdom as well.
Do you get what I mean?
But
That's mad. Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, that went so many
That's another
different ways.
episode
yeah,
done,
honestly,
baby.
this went so many different ways. It started off from the
Yeah,
music.
but there's a lot of important stuff that needed to be heard and
Yeah.
said in this episode still.
And I think I like the fact that it's very conversational as well. Like, you know,
Yeah.
we're just chatting and stuff. We obviously pay
Yeah, it's good to have conversation, man. Not every day argue or say, "Oh, black men are the weakest thing," which we are sometimes.
Come and say, you have messed this thing up, man.
No. Apart from that, Abibat, as always,
Thank you so
man. Thank you
much.
for showing love.
Thank you so
For the
much.
first time.
True.
For the
Third
first
time
time.
running, you know.
Maybe we should start handing out trophies.
Maybe, they should
or money.
maybe they should start paying me, please.
We are paying her, man.
We're paying her,
Shares.
man.
Yeah.
Just
You know
saying
what I
this
mean?
for the camera.
In shares.
Shares.
Yeah, anywho, guys, as I mentioned in the last video, you know, check out my ish, you know, my YouTube,
You know what I mean?
Instagram,
For sure.
Word.
TikTok. Follow
YouTube
me.
plug us, Sha.
So, okay. Yeah. Since they're begging, the green
Said one way.
passport on on Instagram, YouTube, follow, like, share, and all that ish. Get them to 1K subs, like.
Ah,
Man,
we will do it,
2021. We're
man.
trying to get
Not
to
a bit.
1K, like
Yeah.
sub, and that's
You heard it from the girl
Will you
herself.
Thank you.
You heard it
Thank
from the
you.
girl
It's free,
herself,
yeah.
man.
Exactly, it's free. You won't die, man.
You won't
lose a
die,
limb.
man.
And even if you do,
No
guys,
begging now. Let's.
But you guys already know where it is: Spotify, Apple Podcast. Yeah, sorry, YouTube, wherever it is you get your podcast from. Big up Abiba, big up the boys as always. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Big up our Peng
And
Black
let
girls,
us know
man.
what you think in the comment section. Let's start a monologue here. Like,
Yeah.
Let's chat. Tell me what you think.
Twitter warriors.
If you think
Yeah.
I'm wrong, let me know in the comment. Be like,
If you
Word,
think I'm
word,
stupid,
word.
just tell me.
Tell me, I'll call you stupid
They
back,
think
Sha.
so.
Petition to turn Abiba into a comedian, because
Some people is jokes.
It's too
Nah, I always
funny.
said it, man.
I feel like
It's
my
too
next video I
funny.
should probably record it with you guys.
Man, we're always here, man.
Anywho, guys, that's the end for me.
thank
That's
you.
it from us. Big up
For
our Peng
us.
Black girls. Big up our brown skin girls.
Shout out to
And
my mom, my sister, my fat ass.
sorry, yo.
Thank
But
you,
yeah,
sir.
thank you for showing love as always.
Yes,
and Green
sir.
Passport. We out.
You go be.
Peace.
Gone,